everyone, this is Persephone. This is a video that I'm making that it's not exactly NightFlirt advice. I'm just sharing my thoughts about some things that have been happening on NightFlirt and how they affect me. You are very welcome to just ignore it or do your own thing or try doing the same and share your opinions and experiences in the comment section in a civilized way. Disclaimer, I have no ill will or hatred towards anyone. I don't promote any kind of crimes, violent acts, going vigilante and so on. That being said, I'm going to be sharing some extremely negative emotions in this video because I have reached a point in my life where the two back-to-back near-death experiences have made me extremely intolerant when it comes to being dehumanized by dysfunctional men online. And I'm going to give this man a piece of my mind because enough with femdom that is 95% fake. I believe that NightFlirt has great points as a business. I'm grateful to them. In these trying times, I have been able to make a good living just with phone and chat and tributes and selling content. But there are some things that really don't work for me and I want to discuss here. Again, I don't hold anything against the NightFlirt. They don't control the personality of the clients and they don't control what happens with Skype. So if you are a phone sex operator or if you are using this site, you know that Skype is going to retire in May. And ever since this information came out, I have been relentlessly harassed by subs who are messaging me and saying, what are you going to do? Skype is going down. It's like that thing in 1999 that they were saying that when we get into 2000, all the computers will stop working. Like, okay, if Skype retires, first of all, Microsoft is going to replace it with something else. Or I was hoping that maybe NightFlirt could actually incorporate their own cam feature, like ManyVids does, Chaturbate, all the other sites. But even if they didn't, I was thinking, okay, they are going to recommend something else and we're going to use that. Problem solved. Here is where the whole brain and bola circus begins. I have everyone and their dog and their dog's best friend wanted to do something with me before Skype goes away on Telegram, on Discord, on WhatsApp. I don't know. If you can think of a platform they want me to come there. This has become extreme emotional labor for me. I'm going to simplify my life and make it as effective as possible. So I would have to have this man call me on the phone, keep the phone running, figure out the logistics of several of all of these apps, make sure the phone stays on, find a way to make sure I get paid, find a way to make sure that it doesn't show my real phone number, for example, on WhatsApp, or my real name, or any kind of information that can get me dismembered and raped, and then wait for when they will feel horny and ready to call me. I can do all of that. Of course, I can be a masochist and a sucker, or I can do what I decided to do that I'm going to share with you. I'm no longer doing camming on NightFlirt. Sometimes the solution is so straightforward. And because, like I said, I'm really fed up with a lot of people, I planned to try different campsites from accounts that no one will know of, where no one knows me, where I don't have to defend them, and see how it goes. And actually have fun. Because there is a problem when it comes to femdom relationships. The same exact way in my real life, like relationships deteriorate, fade, or just become abusive, a lot of relationships with subs over the years have followed the same fate. So if you are a flirt watching me and you plan to use Discord or Telegram or whatever else, more power to you, great, I'm not using any of that. If I'm going to do camming, I have to do it on a platform that has a built-in camming feature that it automatically pays me the tokens and I don't have to use the phone. Because I'm really struggling emotionally and mentally and I don't have the time for all of this kind of extra labor. And also because I had several people that their phone quote-unquote disconnected somehow and they wouldn't pay me if I didn't notice it. They were trying to scam me. And also another thing that I have become really resistant to is I don't want to see any poopy diapers. I don't want to hear from any lost boys looking for mommy. I don't want to hear people saying, how old are you? What grade are you in school? And other things that make me want to report you to Interpol. I mean, there is a delay when it comes to blocking this kind of accounts that it's not going to be in my life anymore. If you're a man watching this, you have to understand that other people all over the world are still human beings, even though we are behind the computer. there were days, because nowadays I just don't respond, where I wanted to rip my own hair off my head. I have Skype closed, I have NightFlirt closed, I'm sleeping, and yet I'm waking up to 10 to 15 calls. Are you online? Can you open Skype? I miss you. I want to see you. Why would I be online and I would have everything turned off? Am I hiding from you? Don't you think I want to make money too? If I don't appear online, there is a shocking reason. I'm actually not online. There were over 30 men this month, most from NightFlirt, but from other platforms as well, who feel entitled to call me on Skype at any time zone, any hour, like I'm their girlfriend or their best friend. Who raised you to have this level of entitlement? I was engaged to men. I was married to men. I have a best friend of 10 plus years, and it never even crossed my mind to call them and harass them at 3 a.m. because I miss them. What kind of stalker are you? No one talks about that. These men just sail through life, harassing women, oblivious. I want to serve you. No, my friend, you don't want to serve me. You are a master whose real king is pretending to be a slave. That's what you are, because otherwise you wouldn't feel the need to hijack my life like that and have endless Skype calls and endless messages and endless rants, feeling entitled to my time and energy. We are not in a real relationship. I know this is going to come as a shock to a lot of people who think they are in a parasocial relationship with me, but you're in a relationship with me as much as I am in a relationship with G-Dragon. He doesn't know I exist. You have to start understanding that. I had to uninstall Skype from all 3 of my phones, the current ones that I use for adult work, because it was getting out of hand. Do you know how it is to be in public and to have a Skype call from a friend and a poopy diaper photo shows in because, hey, it's Skype and they're going to get away with it? And before you say, Persephone, why have you been obsessed with that? Because it absolutely disgusts me. I don't want to see it. I'm not into scat, and yet people are sending it to me. And I'm thinking, I'm going back to vanilla coming. I'm not going to tell anyone, and best of luck to you. I think we should start discussing these things about the whole femdom goddess reverse bullshit. If I am your goddess, don't you think that you shouldn't feel entitled to harassing me and having no boundaries? I think that when you have been living this way for many years and women are just tolerating you because they want your money, it's very difficult to change. I understand that. But I'm not going to be around to be sugarcoating people. I have reached the point where I say to myself, if I die, so be it. I'm going to try to heal myself and survive. But if I don't survive, I'm not going to be on my deathbed thinking, oh, these people, they just tortured me my entire life. And they harassed me and they stalked me. And I did nothing. So if you're going to say, what are you going to do? What I'm doing right now. That you have to get on with the times and you have to live in reality. There are so many men who have convinced themselves somehow that their own looks don't matter. Looks do matter. If you have to pay women to pretend to like you, it's because you're not attractive. I understand that when we offer a paid service, it's obvious that the client is the priority. But to what extent? If you tell me that I have to sacrifice my mental and physical health and come up with all of these technological ways when there is an easier route, I'm choosing the easier route. If in the future NightFlirt decides to make things easier and they say, hey, this is what you're going to be using from now on, I may rethink my decision. But as things stand, with the current circus and not knowing what's going to happen, I'm announcing it here. I'm going to be very happy to take your call or your chat, but I'm not going to be doing coming. I would tolerate the level of being clingy and needy from regular clients, people who call me every week. But it's also very interesting that it's the men who call me once every 7 months, that when it's Mercury retrograde and they remember I exist, that exact moment they have to call me on Skype and they have to feel entitled that I have to answer right away. It doesn't work like that. If you want me to prioritize you over my regulars, you have to be more regular than them. This is how it works. And it's interesting that the people who do call me every week, they don't behave this way. They're actually much nicer. I understand we have this epidemic of male loneliness, and I understand that most women are not attracted to male homosexuality or bisexuality or cross-dressing, and it's difficult for you. That being said, I also have my own problems and I have to set some boundaries. Otherwise, I'm going to be one of these mistresses who suddenly retired in a farm, suddenly got married, suddenly disappeared, suddenly decided to live in a temple, in a Buddhist monastery. I heard this one recently. All of these are women who never liked you. They tolerated you long enough to hit their financial goals and then they bailed. People who are really into the lifestyle, they don't disappear into a Buddhist monastery one sunny afternoon. I'm asking the ladies who may watch this video, what do you think about this? Are you prepared to use Discord and Telegram? For me, I don't like either platform, especially Discord for me has been associated with gamers, which is the worst thing ever in humanity, if you ask me, my entire life, so I'm not doing that. And also because after all of the things that happened, NightFlirt getting hacked in 2023, many vids banning me one day and accusing me of being practically a human trafficker and then unbanning me when my lawyer contacted them. After all of that stuff, I want to diversify the platforms that I use as much as possible. So even if NightFlirt incorporated the cam feature, I would still come on other platforms, and I don't want to tell people where I come because the same people who harass me and stalk me are going to harass me in the other platform, and I think it's time for a fresh start. And because between you and me, I'm really tired of fandom and I want to descend their fandom from my life and move on to other stuff, especially cosplay. If you see how much money the cosplayers are making, I'm only going to say this. Many of it says that the cosplayers in the top page, top 125, make up to $80,000 per month. 80,000, you heard me. Now you're going to say, Persephone, you really think you're going to make 80,000 per month? I don't know, probably not, but if I could make 15,000, wouldn't be bad, right? And cosplay has a lot more expenses than other stuff. I dropped $2,000 to just get a bunch of costumes and some Lavinus toys and stuff, but it also has much less competition because you need a lot of money to enter, and also because there is a much bigger audience for that compared to fandom. Most men are not submissive. So I have to have a business mindset too, if I want to get ahead of the game. And if that upsets my subs, you will have to put big boy pants on and accept it. And one more thing to close this video that is really dystopian, and I want to share it with you. I have a long-term sub that he has been serving me for 3 years, and he's Australian. In the last 7 months, he had disappeared. And by say long-term sub, I was making thousands of dollars per month from this guy, just from mostly chatting and some humiliation talk. He was a very easy sub and polite person. And he had disappeared, and because he was normal, he wasn't like these goblins who think they are sex gods, I was thinking, well, he probably found a girlfriend and he left the site because he doesn't need to, right? And 2 days ago, he contacted me again, and I was very surprised. And I say, hey, what have you been up to? And he said, I'm using Candy AI. I'm not getting paid to promote Candy AI. That's what he's using. That's why I'm sharing it. And he said, I'm using Candy AI, and you pay a monthly subscription and you can have a variety of mistresses. So I'm having AI mistresses now, and it's much cheaper than the scammers on NightFlirt, and they're available 24/7. He didn't say that everyone on NightFlirt is a scammer, but I know for sure that he has been scammed twice by 2 women using fake pictures. That's why I'm telling you girls that we shouldn't be using fake pictures. So this is the first time in my life that I have been replaced by an AI. He basically came to let me know, and he said, I'm going to follow you on X, but I don't plan to pay you anymore.